over hurdle, under hurdle. So this exercise, again, a fairly simple exercise, and all we need in it is some sort of hurdle, a barbell in a weight room, a hurdle, or just a barrier that you can work on stepping over. So this exercise is going to be working mobility. And with that, I want to make sure we're really challenging ourselves to do this correctly. This drill is done a lot, but it's done incorrectly a lot. So this is also a posture and position drill, and it's really good actually for sprinting. So the over hurdle aspect is going to take us into flexion. And to be able to get over that hurdle as we step over it sideways this way, you really have to get your hip into flexion, lift your knee. What a lot of people end up doing, though, is leaning back. They're not even sure, they don't even know they're doing it, but they lean back because it gets their leg higher. This is something that I see in sprinting all the time. You tell them, get your knees up, drive your knees, and what happens is they lean back to drive their knee, and now they're going to land way out in front of themselves, causing a bunch of different problems, but mainly braking force, and we're not adding force to ourselves and pushing ourselves forward. We're slowing ourselves down. So I really want to make sure on this that you're focusing on that good posture and position. So what I mean with that, again, is be in that rod from your ear through your ankle, also flatten the front, but most importantly that we keep a forward lean. I don't need to be all the way up on the toes here, but that we just keep a forward lean. So our shoulders are over our hips are over our toes. So when that hurdle challenges us and it's hard to get over, we don't lean back, we stay over the top. And if we can't get over that height, then we just move down. So I'm going to show you those two different variations here. I got my hurdle set up right here, and it's probably about 25 inches. And so for me, I know I have good mobility. And where that mobility is, it's in my hip, it's the glute hamstring mobility. I can get everything into flexion, right? Even having quad mobility to get myself to this position. And that's why we do a lot of our warm-ups at good foam rolling. We do some of those stretches, all that foundational warm-up stuff to really prepare us not only for sprinting, but just running, jumping, cutting, and simple movements. So from here, I get myself to the side, good postural position, abs are tight, and I'm going to lift my knee and get my hip and my knee into flexion and get my toe into dorsiflexion. So my toe is going to be up. So I lift up to this position, and I'm going to step over the hurdle and then back with the other leg and touch here. And I want to, if I can, get a pretty good rhythm with this. So I'm going to go slow right now, and you'll see I caught my foot there. You see I'm not going out like this, hitting the hurdle. I'm not leaning back to get it. I am locking this knee and this hip to force myself to get good flexion, but also good extension. That's a good definition of a good sprinter, is being able to get into flexion and extension with the opposite leg. So again, as I go, I want to try and find a good rhythm. Good posture here, kind of work my arms with it, touch. You'll notice I'm staying over the top the whole time, okay? Pulling my toe up, getting a good rhythm, but working that mobility and also that posture and positioning. So if this is too high, just have your athletes go lower. So make sure, again, that it seems, wow, that's a big variation. That's fine. This is it just needs to be there so we understand what we're trying to do and go over. If I didn't have the barbell over here, I could still get this movement done with this hurdle, just knowing that, okay, even though it's 12 inches, I need to act like it's 20 to work on that height. So the over hurdle, under hurdle, great exercise. So this is the over hurdle, and we'll move you into the under hurdle, working that mobility next. So the under hurdle aspect of the over hurdle, under hurdle, now we've got ourselves in a barrier and we're raising it because obviously we're going to go under it. So if you don't have a hurdle, you don't even really need one. You just need to work and imagine yourself trying to go underneath the hurdle and work the mobility that we're going to be talking about. So this one, as we go under now, is going to be working on a side step, and it's going to be working this movement with our hips. So to be able to get in that movement, you have to have really good glute mobility, hamstring mobility, hip mobility, ankle mobility. And so not only is this a good exercise, but it's good to be able to screen yourself or your athletes to see, okay, we need to work on maybe some ankle mobility, or this is really tight in my hips, or really tight in my glutes, or really tight in my hamstrings, and you can start to find and pick those spots that maybe you need to work on some of that myofascial stuff, or adding some things to your warm-up, whether it's the static stuff, whether it's more foam rolling, whatever it is. So with this now, I'm going to get myself sideways. We still want to be in a good posture with this, and you're going to see me challenge myself, and I may even duck my head again, but the goal is to try and be as upright as possible. You're going to take a side step, and then you're going to kind of make a swooping U with your hips to work that mobility through it to get underneath it. So as I go, get myself good posture, I take the side step, trying to keep my head, and then come back up. See how I hit my shoulder so I didn't take a big enough side step. Okay, get myself here, really work that mobility, and come back up. So the over aspect, working on that posture, position, mechanics, this one's going to exploit some of the weaknesses maybe we have in mobility in our joints. So great exercise. If you don't have a barbell, maybe you have track hurdles, or maybe you have some sort of hurdle that you can go over, under, and you can do this as a drill going back and forth. But in a weight room, if you're working something in the weight room on a rack, and you want yourself or your athletes to do a set, of power cleans or something, and then work mobility, it's great where you can just flip that, set your hurdle up, go work that mobility, get back into your power exercise. So it's a great exercise, again, working on joint mobility, posture and position, and kind of exploit some of those weaknesses that you or yourself or your athletes may have.